Hi and welcome back. My name is Emily. In this video I will be using a couple of new products from Miss Ink. I will start off by using the inside part of this new stencil called Quatrefoil, and I use some pixie spray to the backside, and now I will remove the outer piece. We will use that later on in this video. I just wanted to make sure that I center this, and I use the guidelines on the stencils. They are etched in, and that is something I really like. I'm using my blending brushes from Trinity Stamps as well as inks from Concord and Night, and I'm using a couple of shades of green. I felt like the sun and summer and everything is coming back, and everything is in this really pale, beautiful green color, so I used that one. And I also used this beautiful stencil that was released in March, and I will have all the links to everything listed down below for you if you're interested in looking at them. There will also be a coordinating blog post if you want to see close-ups of this card. So now I'm using another new stencil. This one is called Medium Polka Dots, and I went in with a really green color here, and I sort of didn't like how this turned out, so you will see here in a second how I turned all of this green down a little bit and also created a lot more dimension. So this is something, here is me experimenting. So I took white pigment ink from my stash, and this is called Unicorn, I believe it's called Unicorn White from Hero Arts, and I went over the green a couple of times, and I also slightly switched the stencils so they just overlapped a bit, and that just created a lot more texture here, and I love how this turned out. But this is really a technique that I'm not that comfortable with doing. I love seeing everybody else doing this, but I have never succeeded really to make this vibe on a card, but I like how this turned out, so I was really experimenting. So while I was experimenting, I used a stamp set that creates splatters, so you could just have used a paintbrush, but I was quite concerned with how that would turn out, so I just used my stamp. You can use splatters, of course. So here is one of my biggest mistakes with this card. I didn't let my pixie spray dry enough, so I will ruin the inside part here, so it will not turn out to be a one-layer card like I imagined. So masking all of this off was actually a mistake, but you will see here how I fixed it. I took some cream colored cardstock. I know this looks white, but it is cream colored, you will see in a second here. And I traced the inside part so that I could cut it out. And I also created a gold frame without outer part, from the same stencil Quatrefoil stencil that we used. I just love those borders. And when I had cut out that same shape, I will heat a emboss in sentiment from the Climbing Rose stamp set, and off camera I also colored in a couple of the roses from that same stamp set. And I will tie the gold that we use for our frame there to tie everything in, and I will heat that out off camera, and then we can start arrange everything. And that is always the best part, I think, when you have created all the elements and you have an idea in your head of how you want this to look in the end, and then you can just play around with the placement and everything. So to create some more dimensions, since we messed up, or I messed up with the inside part there, I just raised this up a little bit. And you can see that cream color, I really think that looked better. So here are my flowers and my leaf that I just colored in. I just used some Copic markers to do that. Nothing fancy at all. I will have a video later on when I am coloring in a lot of roses, so stay tuned for that. And I went over this with my white gel pen, and you can see I'm creating dots at this point, just making sure that I have some sort of a sparkle or light to these leaves. And I didn't want everything to look symmetric, if that makes sense, so I will have one rose at the bottom and at the top, but just to balancing everything out, I will use 3 pairs of leaves just to make them look nice. I always think when you pair stuff in threesomes, it looks super nice on cards. So that is what I'm going for. Every time I create a card, I try to look for triangles and shapes like that in my card making, and it makes it so much easier. So this pretty much finished our card off. I will just use some pretty pink par sequence in the end here to create some more bling to our card. But that was pretty much it. And of course a glitter pen. I couldn't leave it as is. I just needed some more glitter. I hope you liked this card and got inspired to create something with stencils. And until next time, I hope you have a great day. Bye!